Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ask an Archivist. Today I want to ask you guys a question. Did you know that the Diocese of Austin used to host a rodeo for over 25 years? And at this rodeo you could see a priest donning his Roman collar in a cowboy hat and jeans riding on the back of an angry bull. Well, today I want you guys to meet Father Robert Mahoney, also known as Bullet Bob and the Cowboy Priest. Father Bob Mahoney was a former boxer, football coach, horse trader, and pool player. He enlisted in the Army when he was 17 and was immediately sent to Japan. He even later went back and joined the U.S. Navy and was sent to Alaska as part of the traditionally tough construction battalion, also known as the Seabees. He was a delayed vocation. He wasn't ordained until the age of 32. And some described him as a brash, outspoken, even considered a daredevil. Not the normal qualities you would suspect a Catholic priest to have. 1963 is where our story begins. He was assigned to St. Anne's Parish in Somerville, Texas, as well as Old Washington on the Brazos. Both of these parishes were in financial straits. They were very poor communities and small communities. So here is the first article that I found in the archive that I want to show you guys. And it quotes Father Bob saying, "I didn't know what the problems were here, so I called a meeting," he said. "We kicked a few things around and determined the problems were housing, jobs, and recreation, in that order. When I first came here, there were 53 families. Out of that 53, 21 heads of families were out of work. They were mostly Mexican Americans, and we're just trying to survive." We moved to this magazine too, which was not a Catholic publication. It was called The Horseman, the magazine of Western writing. They did an article on Father Bob as well, and here we can see him quoting, "The problem is that the kids have no place to play, not even a movie to go to, no place to dance or anything," he complains. "First thing we must do was get some money. But just look around here and you wonder where in the blue blazes it's going to come from. The town is supported by 89 jobs at a railroad tie plant." Father Bob made it his mission to help bring money into the community as well as help sustain St. Anne's Parish. In this news article from the Houston Chronicle, one of his first major plays that he made was bringing 4 nuns to St. Anne's. Here he said, "I went to her," grins Father Mahoney. "I had nothing to offer. No convent, no money, no food, nothing." He ended up bringing Mother Augustine, and with her she brought 3 sisters, Sister John, Sister Augustina, and Sister Margaret, to the parish. So after bringing the 4 sisters to the parish, he was thinking of ideas on how to raise money. He had recently been to a local sporting event known as goat roping, and he came up with the idea to hold a goat roping event to raise money for the parish. Well, this quickly turned into an entire rodeo. The Somerville Stampede was hosted at the 4-in-1 Ranch owned by Joe Esparza and brought thousands to Somerville and lots of money into the community. It included a rodeo, a parade, dinner and dancing, rodeo clowns, auctions, the crowning of the rodeo queen. They even awarded scholarships to students. It was a success for the next 25 years. We can see that the Houston Chronicle wrote, "Each year, more or less in May, a highly individualistic cowboy priest named the Reverend Robert Mahoney stages a rodeo at the Joe Esparza Ranch near Somerville. A priest staging a rodeo? You got it. The pastor of St. Anne's Parish in Somerville does it to raise money for the Somerville Recreation Center and parish charities, and has come to be known as one of the top rodeo attractions in the country." This was not an easy event to hold. It took the entire community to come together and put on this event. And we must remember that the rodeo was not just put on for fun. The proceeds were used to buy new land, pay off the parish's recreation center, and it also created eventually new housing and jobs for the surrounding community. So here is another article that I want to show you guys. This one is from the Catholic Spirit, so the Diocese of Austin newspaper. Here we can see that the story of the Cowboy Priest repeatedly has caught the imagination of the Austin American Statesman, the Houston Chronicle, Horseman Magazine, the Texas Catholic Herald, and the West Texas Register, as well as radio and TV stations. So it was a widely publicized event. Not shockingly, because it included a Catholic rodeo and a priest on the back of a bull. This article also goes on to state that the average attendance for the stampede is between 3,000 and 4,000. So you can just imagine how popular this was, that this rodeo brought in so many people to this small town to raise money. As you may remember at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that Father Bob was the pastor of St. Anne's in Somerville at the same time as being pastor in Washington on the Brazos. Well, Washington had just as many issues as Somerville did when it came to their community. In this article titled "A War of Dust and Water," it states, "Many are ill. Bad water," said Father Mahoney, "is a basic cause of the impoverished condition of these people." After hiring an engineering firm to conduct studies on the wells in the water in Washington, Father Bob Mahoney said 5 types of parasites plus extremely high saturation of nitrates that cause brain damage and blue babies was found in the water. So, Father Bob was not only trying to raise money for Somerville, but he was trying to bring fresh drinking water to Washington as well. In addition to all this, we can see in this article that he was also trying to fight illiteracy in the state. So this man was very hardworking and was always trying to help the people of Texas. Father Bob would go on to serve in multiple parishes around the Austin Diocese, including Granger, Waco, McGregor, Elgin, and Manor. He celebrated his 50th anniversary of his ordination just a couple months before his death in 2009. And I want to read a part of the eulogy that was read at his funeral by his brother. Father Bob was the caregiver in the family. When I went to England, Mother moved to Somerville with Bob, and they lived together for the next 20 years. Mother was a bookkeeper, accountant, and secretary. She fed him, worried over him, and fussed at him till the end, and he would talk to her about his plans for the parish, the problems he faced with the parish council, the finances, the teenagers, and what to do about Old Washington. Mother knew him inside and out. So he wasn't only concerned about Somerville and Old Washington, but he was also the caregiver of his family and was caring for his mother until the end. So that wraps up today's episode. I want to thank Father Bob for donating all of these articles so we could get to know him better, and I sure do hope I did his story justice. So with that, we'll leave you with his signature sign-off. Bullet.